My guest today is Genevieve Simmonds. Genevieve is actually a canine massage therapist. She massages dogs. She's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this conversation with her. She started out when she'd literally just kind of finished her studies and was sort of still seeing a lot of people pro bono as she learned and studied what she was doing, and stepped into the Fully Booked Boot Camp, and she was maybe sort of seeing 7 dogs on a good week as a mobile therapist. And then by the end of her first boot camp, so she did boot camp twice, she was seeing 10 dogs a week consistently. And then the final boot camp, she actually quit her job and moved into this full time. So I am so delighted to share this incredible woman's journey of what she's been able to achieve by working with dogs and being a mobile practitioner, and how she's been able to adapt the material that we teach and be able to utilize it for her in order to be able to step out of her employment, her full-time job, and into working for herself full-time, to know what she needed to have in place to understand her financials, as well as have the systems and the marketing in place to be able to do this really, really well. I look forward to sharing this journey with you, and I trust that it's really helpful for you to be able to see what's possible with consistent action in the one direction. Hi, Genevieve, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Alicia.
Look, do you maybe want to share the beautiful people that you work with in what it is that you do?
What do I do? Well, I'm a canine dog massage therapist. So I go around and I visit people in their home and massage their dogs.
Oh, that's so beautiful. How did you get into that?
I got into that because I've been in the veterinary industry for 30 years and I'm actually a vet nurse by trade. And I could see that there's needing more for dogs than just some pain medication or a little bit of physio. I could see that there's an area where dogs are feeling a lot of discomfort, and that I felt that there was a place that I could help. I do have a bit of a passion for a bit of behaviour, so I could see that sometimes behaviour was probably because they were in pain. And it sort of just stemmed from there. I just did a course. I've always put hands on for dogs anyway, and it just organically kept growing and progressing along. And here I am today working, visiting people and seeing their dogs.
What an amazing opportunity to observe behavior and animals, and then to be able to move into this. What is, for those who are like, I've never heard of a canine massage therapist, what's the training like? What do you have to do to become qualified?
To be qualified, it's actually a 12-month course. Mine actually ended up going for nearly 2 years, which was awesome because of COVID, I couldn't actually get to my practicals. So basically that took longer. So it's a 12-month course. I think having a background in veterinary nursing definitely makes a massive difference in being able to step forward and know a little bit more about dogs and how to work with them in different situations. So I think knowing the behaviour and knowing how the ethogram of the dog is really important. But yeah, the course was 12 months.
Wow. And so you studied through COVID, which is kind of that 2020, 2021 time. And then when did you actually start your business?
I started on September the 9th, 2022. However, prior to that, I was definitely doing a lot of pro bono massages. So you have to have a certain amount that you need to have. So yeah, but I started it officially September the 9th, 2022.
Nice. And how did you find kind of working, like being employed and then moving into running your own business? What was that like for you?
Oh, that's a good question. That has been probably my biggest personal growth, and for the business, still continuing working with in a practice as a receptionist vet nurse, but it was also a teaching practice at times. So, and then just building the business, there was a lot of backwards and forwards of managing days off, doing clients while I was building it, and then slowly pulling back on the days at the other job and increasing the workload as I kept getting and building up my clientele.
Yeah. And so how did you find out about the Fully Booked Boot Camp program, or what was it about that you thought, yeah, you know what, I need some help with this?
It was actually on Sienna, is a organisation that you become a member of when you become a dog massage. Well, it's actually called a canine myofunctional therapist, or if you end up going on to do herbalism or naturopathy for cats and dogs or horses. It was actually a webinar that James had at the time, just talking about, you know, where are you at in your business? How many people are you seeing? And you sort of followed him along in this story during this webinar. And I thought, oh, that's where I'm sitting right there. And he explained some of the benefits of the boot camp briefly. But there was also at the end of the webinar to make contact and have a chat to him. So I was watching the webinar and straight away sent a message to say, yeah, I'd love to have a chat. And the rest is history.
So what was it about the boot camp that you saw that you thought, yeah, you know what, that's what I need right now in my business?
What was it about the boot camp? I think there was a number of things. Well, number one, it was the way James kept engaging with me and was thought-provoking. I think that was really important, the authentic process before I joined. Like, he was very authentic of, what I currently do, what my figures are. He was honest, but it was thought-provoking to say, okay, I do need help. I knew I needed help, but I need to get the right help. And is this going to be the right help? And it was the right help to step further into my business. Like, the program was going to tick I had 3 things that I wanted to achieve, and I did, but there was so much more that I got.
That's awesome. So what were the 3 things that you wanted to achieve through the boot camp?
I wanted to actually start up a Facebook business page. I wanted to have my website completed and sorted. And the other one was to have support in know how to do a business, and just to have business support and coaching, and which was what you guys provided.
Nice. So how did you go? Because we often will talk about massage and we talk about people and humans, and we don't often mention dogs. What did you do to be able to flip massage to dogs in the way that you marketed your business?
Basically, the content could be very suitable for a lot of businesses. I don't think, sure, your goal is working with massage therapists. However, I think if you're in any other business, the same information could be applied to many businesses. So it made sense, and it was I could apply it to my business. There was probably only the areas of sometimes when you'd have like, oh, grab this picture of a massage and use it on your Facebook, and it was a person massaging another person. Went, oh, no, that's not going to work for me. So I just found my own pictures and I took my own and I used those. But basically all the content, you can transfer it quite easily to any other business. Well, it was easy for me to transfer. It was actually very easy. Yes.
Yeah. So when you started the course, how many dogs did you have? Were you seeing sort of each week?
I was probably only seeing 5 a week, maybe 7 on my good weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And by the time you finished the course, how many dogs were you seeing roughly?
That increased. I had a look at it. It went to about, I did that first one, that was in February. So I actually had an increase to about 10 a week, but that's now even more since I finished the course, since I've done the second one.
Yeah. And so you were doing the course while working. So you were seeing 10 dogs a week on your day off, essentially. What's been your journey over the last couple of months, or even the last month or so, the last 4 weeks has been quite a big journey for you. So what have you made the decision to do?
So in the last 4 weeks, I actually resigned from my other job, which has helped. Well, yeah, I resigned and moved on to just doing my dog massage business full time. Yes.
Wow. And so what was it that made you decide, I know what to do and I know I've got this? Like, what did you have in place in order to make that kind of decision?
Well, there's a lot of things in place. I think there's so many things. Knowing my website is successfully up and running and people can find me. My Google reviews are up and running. These are all from the boot camp. We have a plan. You have a lot more of an idea of where you're going. You have an idea of where you're going financially. I knew what my Facebook ads were, what I needed to do there. I just knew I could back myself because I knew that I was backed by the boot camp. So, and I just knew that there was a time when you just got to take the leap. And to be really honest, doing 2 jobs, I was working 7 days a week to build this up, to be now doing like 17 massages a week. And sometimes I was still doing that while working, that it was time to embrace it and step off the cliff and trust and move forward. So, but there's so many other things, but that's probably what I can think of right now.
That's so exciting. So even like it is, so we're doing this interview in September and obviously the boot camp in February. So by February you had consistent, or the end of the February course, you had consistent 10 clients a week you were seeing with dogs. You built that up to now 17, and that's over time. Like I think it's important that people will get quick wins right off the bat, but and also continue to implement and continue to learn and continue to grow. And then we're talking like 9 months later to be able to go, that's it, or even 8 months later, that's it. I am absolutely leaving my full-time work. I'm leaving that security and I'm going to step into my own business, which is amazing, and massive kudos and well done to you for that, for being able to do that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of dedication and getting up every day and being consistent. And I think that's really important, is consistently moving forward and keep doing something. It might look like it's messy, but it'll all come together.
Yeah, nice. So then for you, like what were some of the other things that you put in place from the boot camp?
The other things I've put in place is starting to do my procedures. So the steps to do stuff. So that was really important to have that really organized with, okay, when I get a new client, what email do I send? And the steps to do that. When I get a new dog, the reports and the steps that I take and how I transfer the photo. So there's actual steps on how to do stuff. The other things that I've implemented, gosh, there's so many you don't even realize you're doing them, but there'll be things like making sure that when I send in invoices that I'm making sure that I'm checking it all off and that's running smoothly. So I've got an idea of my financial picture as well. So I'm on top of what's happening there. The Facebook posts, that they're regularly scheduled. So I've got them consistently happening with my Instagram. The mindset stuff too, consistently reminding myself to speak positive, do my affirmations, do meditation, do a mindful meditation. It's really important, which I do most days. If I don't do them, I will sit in every day and just be speaking positive. The other thing is that if I'm having moments where I'm doubting or I'm not quite sure, I can just jump back into the boot camp because it's a lifetime, and just refresh on information and just say, oh, that's right, that's how I do that, or that's what I need to do. But there's so many things I've implemented that I've just like, which one do I pick? There's just been so many. But consistency that's what's taught to you in the boot camp, is that it doesn't matter if it's correct. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. You just keep moving forward. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just keep moving. You keep doing it. And for a perfectionist, that was very much a struggle in the early days of going, no, I've got to do it. I can't say complete until I've done it 150%. It's like, no, you've done it. That's great. Let's move on. You can come back to that. And that's what I kept learning when you were in the boot camp, is about that consistency, to just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Action precedes clarity.
Yeah, that's so true.
And it's like, so many people are like, I need to understand every single lesson that I am learning, and I need to make sure that I have, that everything makes sense before I move to the next one. There's 8 weeks worth of learning. Keep the learning going. And often we learn so much by the implementation, even if it doesn't work or it's not right, it's better to take the action, learn, and then get the clarity. Oh, that isn't going to work for me, but that is going to work for me, or that's going to work for me and that's not going to work for me. And it's like, you can't know that unless you're prepared to take the action. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have been so successful in this program, because you're willing to just back yourself and put perfectionism to the side. I just feel like it's okay.
Yeah.
I can keep moving forward. It's prolific over proficient, and that's it. But it's a big part of business. You know, in business we often think that we have to get everything perfect, and the truth is that we don't. And the more we're willing to embrace that messy and just be human, because we are humans running a business, actually the more we get out of it, the more we learn, and the quicker we move forward, which is amazing. So you attended, I think, almost every single one of the weekly base camps that we had, and stayed
Yeah, I did. Yep.
really, really connected through those. What did you get out of the program because of attending those base camps?
Support. So you're talking about the webinars each week that we do. So each week we had a webinar with the group, with yourself or James or Yvette or all of you guys. I got to stay on track. I got to realize it's okay. If I was feeling a vulnerable feeling, I could just be in there and felt that it could be honest. And if I was honest, I was supported for my honesty. And that was encouraging. And I also got to hear, being on those weekly meetings, I got to hear other people's story and realize, oh, wow, they've got the same thing happening. Oh, my God, that's so cool. Oh, that's all right. And then we would talk to each other and support each other. So there was just this whole, okay, I've got through that week. I didn't get everything done. Alicia there, James there, Vet, whoever's there, that's okay. It was an open free for all to have a chat. How your week's been? What do we need? And problems got solved. You've given everything a go, but then it was reviewed and said, oh, we could try this or do that, or have you tried this? And it was so important to have those weekly webinar Zoom meetings, because it really helped you stay grounded, and also knowing that it's okay and you're supported and you had our back.
Yeah. And I think that's the key whenever we're learning something, especially when we're learning online. It can be easy to feel like I'm just here trying to watch these videos and I don't even know, I'm on track, I'm not. But to have those weekly calls that keep you accountable to doing what you said you're going to do, to help make the learnings, to help apply the learnings for you and your business. So you're not just getting generic information, you're actually getting like, this is how I need to run my Facebook page for the kind of niche that I have for you, for dogs. And then how do I actually implement that for me in my business? And then hot seat, which is what we do quite a lot, is where we'll actually go, right, you're doing really well on your Facebook page. What have you actually implemented and how do we do this? So how did you go with pricing your dogs and your sessions and things like that?
That was a really challenging area for me, where I didn't know what to charge. Well, I had it priced, but also I hadn't really put a value on my time and my expertise and how much life experience and how much experience I had. So that was actually a really, with yourself, and it was mainly with you, and I believe there was a few other members that were all struggling with the pricing and the value of what we come to. And especially being a mobile massage therapist, you've got travel in between there, and there's distances you've got to travel. So yeah, so we did come to pricing, and I have to say I'm still working on that, but I'm definitely put the value on my service now, and it's not an issue.
Yeah, nice. And it is so important, because often we think as a consumer, it's like, well, this is what I'm used to paying and that sort of stuff. And then we step into business, it's like, actually, what do I need to charge? Like, it's not just a 1 hour treatment that you're doing. It's often a 2 hour treatment plus, plus travel time and the travel cost in that. You've got to factor that into the way that you're charging. And often it's just a mindset shift to go, I need to charge what I want to charge and what I need to charge, as opposed to what I think I should be charging. That's what I think makes a big difference in the way that we decide to come to our prices. So roughly, where were you when you first started boot camp, and where are you priced now?
So when I initially first started, I was probably charging $80 per massage, and now I'm charging $120, plus there's travel if it's over a 30K radius. Now, I was initially charging $100 for my initial consultation, which could go for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and plus a report. So now I'm charging $150 on those prices. And those reporting first initial massages will be increasing shortly as the amount of time and the value people get, because they get a detailed report. That'll be happening shortly.
Definitely, because it's not just the report, it's the expertise, it's the 30 years of expertise that you are putting into those that people are having access to. And here's what I love about charging well for what we do is when it's out there in public, people know when they call you what you charge. There's no question. There's absolutely no question of, oh, but should I, shouldn't I? And it's like, just put it out there. And one of the base camps that we worked with, there was, I think you created a list. Is that what it was? My memory's a little bit foggy, but there was a way that's like you were a bit wobbly about it and you had to create a system that made sense to you. What did you do to creatively create that?
Well, it was talking in the group. We all talked about what other massage therapists were charging, and they would go into people's homes. That was sort of where I was leading it to. So I'm not at the top end of what some massage therapists come to.
Did you create a menu?
I did create a price list. Yes. So I created a price. Yeah, I created a price list. That's what I did. I created a price list, and then I actually put the prices on my website. And then that was it then. So they were there, and so people could know straight away if that was where they wanted to be, or if that met where their budget, or what they saw of my value. So that's what happened. Yeah. And every new client gets the menu sent to them, or they can see it on my website. Definitely. Yeah. And it's easier because it's there already. They know what they're up for.
What I love about that is that even when we feel wobbly, and often we do, is we're kind, compassionate, caring therapists and healers, natural born healers that go into the world and then have to charge something for what we do. And it's like, I have this crazy belief that our passion and our skill set is allowed to match our bank account. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And sometimes when we're feeling that feeling of wobbliness around what we're charging, to have some structure, like you think about a vet nurse, I'm imagining that at some point you would have had a price list behind the counter. So when someone calls, you just tell them what it actually costs to do whatever. And so it's like, if that's a familiar way for you to understand, remember how to charge, then it would make sense that if you're feeling wobbly as a dog practitioner, to create the same structure that makes sense to you.
Oh, that's how we made the structure. I do remember now. Yeah, it was like, when I worked in the vet clinic, what was the price? And you went, yeah, you just say that's what it is. And it made sense. That's right. Sorry, I did forget how I got that structure. That was it. Yes, it was. It was from looking at what the vets charge and when they go to home calls and what was happening. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And look, it is, I use a similar experience for the people that have kids, because sometimes when we have kids, we don't question what time's bedtime. Yeah, I know that you're a dog mum of a beautiful Trevor, who we'll talk about in a second. But and dachshunds have a whole different subset of going to bed. So we can't use Trevor as an example here. But when people are putting kids to bed, they don't argue with their kid. The kid's like, oh, but I want to stay up. And it's not like, oh, okay, well, maybe you should. That wouldn't be, I feel bad for you having to go to bed. No, you bring the same certainty that you have when your kid is like, but I want a Band-Aid. You don't need a Band-Aid. You don't need a Panadol. You don't need water. Go to bed. That is the certainty that we're allowed to have in a business, and finding whatever it is that works for you is what matters, that you can use those experiences to be able to make great choices in your business. And that's what I think that particular base camp was all about, was really for you to be able to create a structure that made sense to you, that you could then make those decisions and have those conversations without feeling like the wobbliness or the feelings were getting in the way of what it is, the outcome you're looking for in your business. So that's really cool. So you do have, let's talk about Trevor, because everyone knows about Trevor. So do you want to share a little bit about your beautiful Trevor that often would join us for base camps?
He did turn up to base camps a bit, didn't he? Trevor is my 7-year-old dachshund. Well, initially he was my son's dog. He begged that he wanted a dachshund. And we did. It definitely is his dog. And when Trevor sees him, he's very overjoyed. However, Trevor, he moved out, and my son looked at me and said, there's no way we can separate you two, because he sleeps in your bed, not the crate that we were supposed to do. And so that's what's happened. So Trevor has actually been a big lesson and a learning in my life. And he's been part of this whole doing my business and working with dogs, because he's the first dog that I've had in my life that's made me look at how I do dogs and what you do with dogs. And dachshunds are uniquely, and I don't like to use the word stubborn, I think they just know who they are and they know what they're going to do and what they're going to do. And when you have a set of concepts in your mind, you want to just throw that out and just naturally take that personality as is and just work with that. And you're right. If you ask Trevor to do something, you can see him literally look at you and go, nah, I'm going to chase the turkey. See you later. There's no, so yeah, Trevor is unique and he's very friendly to everyone, and he's very good at calming everyone down, I noticed, or calming other dogs down. So he's been brought into my life for my lessons, because I don't think anyone else could have taught me as many lessons as he has. So that's Trevor, but he's on the lounge at the moment, so he didn't want to come and join me today.
Oh, of course, he got it into his head. No, I'm not coming. It's not a base camp. There won't be heaps of people looking at me. I'm not coming. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I don't have an audience.
And we share a love of dachshunds, as we have little Frank dog.
Yes.
And look, I'm blessed. I feel like we were set up to have a dachshund well by owning a beagle for 9 years, because I think they're more stubborn than dachshunds, which is quite impressive, really. Yeah, so dogs are amazing, and they do teach us lots and lots and lots of things. For you, let's talk a little bit about like your social media. You, speaking of dogs, is that you do have lots of amazing opportunities to share the stories of the dogs that you do. How did you start to create that?
You know, it was funny because I started the business Facebook page while I was doing the boot camp, and it was so easy. It's like I didn't realize I had a creative side, and I just want to talk and tell so many stories. And I think that's my passion. So my posts are so easy because every dog is unique and every dog's got a story, and their owners have got a story about that dog. So doing an intro or welcoming to their massage family, and there's so many I haven't even posted yet about them. And there's just so many things I want to share with people on my posts, like the nails, we need to get them trimmed, or the floors are slippery, or, the collars we need to, look at the collars they're wearing, or where's the food, where's the bowl sitting. So the Facebook page for my business has been, look, it's really, I would just spend all day, every day creating posts if I could. And it's like breathing for me to do my business Facebook page, to be honest. It's just time. I don't have the time to do it. So yeah, for me, and people respond. And I think the thing is that I learned in the base camp and the boot camp is the fact that just be organic, be authentic, just tell it how it is. And people will just be attracted to or certain people will be drawn to it. So I think that's what makes it so unique. And I think it's new. There's not many people that do, dog massage, let alone go to people's homes and do a massage. Yeah. So, yeah.
And that's exactly what social media is for. It's meant to be educational, or what did someone call it? Edutainment. Yeah, where it's like you're educating people and you just happen to have a lot of really cute dog pictures as well. And it's also very educational, and it's helpful. Like, I have learned all sorts of stuff for my dogs from just having your stuff pop up in my feed. Unfortunately, we're in different states, so we probably can't have a home visit unless you come down to where I live for a holiday one time. And it's such a beautiful way to put yourself out there organically and just be you, show up just as you, and sharing that education. What has been some of the results? You have created some amazing joint ventures with some other people that have just noticed what it is that you're doing. Do you want to share a little bit about what that's been like?
Yeah, and that's one this week actually was my car has branding on the back windscreen of my business, and I had a lady approach me at Bunnings while I had Trevor, and she had her dog in the car, and she is from Young Diggers. So Young Diggers is an organisation that help ex-servicemen and families and anyone that's done any services. And she wanted to know what I was doing, and I was talking about it, and she said, would you come and do a talk regarding what you do, and maybe if you could talk a bit about palliative care, end of life, but then demonstrate a massage or just show us some massage techniques that they can do with their dogs and connect with them. And when we got talking, it was really about them being mindful and connecting with their dogs so that they can forget about other things and just have that on one feeling and that connection with their dog. That was pretty special. I did that. And then from there, I've been invited to go to Yandina and do a talk for Veterans Week about, and just do a demonstration or teach people about just a basic massage that they can do with their dogs and how to set that up and where you do it in the situation. That's been one. I've also collaborating with a vet who, she is a veterinary behaviourist. She's mobile as well, and she's extraordinary and amazing, compassionate lady, Jessica. Jessica and I'm doing her dog at the moment, and she's sending me dogs that, have been appeared that they've got behaviour, but they're actually in a lot of pain, and she realises that together we can help each other. So that's one. Another one is a beautiful Lyndall, who's a dog naturopath. She's done her canine naturopathy, and it does a lot of nutrition, and basically she'll see dogs that are might need a lot of treatments while they're getting nutrition or the other herbs. So that's been working. We're collaborating together on that, and that's been a beautiful relationship happening. I've also got a dog behaviourist, so she and I are working together. Also, it's again seeing those dogs. She works with me, Jessica, and we look at dogs that might be needing, a treatment. And also I've collaborated with Aristopets with Lisa. She's a dog groomer, and so she'll see a lot of dogs that, are old and they can't get in the hydro bath, or they're having trouble and they're having neck issues, or she sees that they're having issues or concerns. So she's been telling them about them. And then if I've got dogs that I feel they really need a good nail trim or their pads trimmed so they're not slipping, I'll refer to her. So I definitely have made some amazing connections, and I wouldn't have made them if I hadn't stepped in to choose to do this business. And the beautiful thing is I keep meeting amazing people who we all have the same goal, that we want to help dogs and give them the best care possible. Yeah.
It's so beautiful, and that's such a beautiful byproduct of just say yes and work the details out later. Yeah, just taking those a consistent action in the one direction, people start to notice, and like the alignment, and the synchronicity of this is what I'm doing, this is who I'm helping, and other people seeing that, and you being seen and visual, and actually like people can see what you're doing, and then they kind of go, oh my gosh, that resonates with me, and like their heart leans in, and all of a sudden you've got all these amazing people that are referring to you and that you're working with. That makes sense. Like if a dog, we know that if we're in pain, we're grumpy. If dogs are in pain and they can't say ouch, then of course they can easily be grumpy, and we mistake their behavior as, behavioral problem, but actually they're just in pain. And the ability to be able to help support those people is just amazing, and such a testament to who you are as a practitioner as well. So open to collaborate with other people for the purpose of helping dogs to live well, live a really good and active life. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Something else I want to touch on is that you put your hand up to be a brand ambassador. Do you want to maybe share a bit about what that process has been like?
That's been brand ambassador has been an honour to do, because it makes you be better, because you're supporting others, but you also need to be vulnerable and show others that it's okay to be vulnerable and honest. It's also made me to keep my focus on my business. I don't know how to put that in words, but others have been able to see that they can come and achieve so much if I'm just flying the flag as well, but also that I've still got lots to learn. It also helps people to see that they see me, they might see that this is an opportunity for them to explore down as well, and this could support them through their business. So it's been dual effect, so we've all benefited from.
Yeah. It's been amazing to have you as part of our brand ambassadors, and just to see you step into that leadership. No one asked you to. Like, really, it was more an external thing. How do you kind of take what it is that you've learned and share that with other people? And yet what we've noticed and observed is you actually stepping into that leadership role, exactly as you said, being a role model, but not just, oh, I'm a role model and I know all the stuff, and being a role model that says, and I'm here to do the work. Like, this is actually part of being an authentic business owner, is that today I'm wrestling with this. It's not easy for me, but I'm here to break through and I'm here to make changes. And I think that, it's thank you for the way that you have showed up throughout this second boot camp and been such a role model for the people that we've had in there, because it's been like genuinely one of the most amazing groups we've had through the program. I would say was the February one and the one that you've just gone through as well. We do have incredible moments through boot camp, and there's something about the energy in these two particular intakes. And part of it is because people like yourself show up, and they're like, right, I'm here to change. I'm here to make a difference. What do I need to learn? And just having that curiosity and that openness, I think, makes a huge difference to not only the energy of the group, but also then the results that people get as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That definitely, you can, if you create and be honest and authentic, it seems to open up everyone else as well. It just helps to flow it. It has a flow-on effect, definitely.
Nice. So if somebody was in a similar position to where you were and they were looking at boot camp and having a think about it, what would you say to them?
I just say, just do it. Just do it. Stop overthinking. Just do it. And it's funny, I have approached it to some people and I can see that they're like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, have you got your Facebook up and running? How's your website going? Have you got your mindset? Like, have you got your procedures in place? Have you got this? And they'll say no. And I said, well, this is going to support you. So just go and do it. You're going to get supported. It's good value. You're going to get so much value, and it's lifetime. You just can go in there any time or day and still check out the content. And also we still have the Facebook group. So our closed Facebook group, we're all still regularly jumping in there going, oh, I've got this happening. I've got that happening. I mean, the other week it was amazing to have. So if you're doing as we're sticking to the question here about the boot camp and why, just doing it doesn't just stop in that 8 weeks. You have the flow on effect of continuing to go and do the content. You can go back to it, but you also still have the people that you did the group with who are in the private page, and you guys still engage in it. So if we have a question, you guys jump in and go, oh, yep, okay. So it's still ongoing. It's just amazing. I've never heard of that or seen that before.
Yeah. And that's right. Like, it is a premium course. And the reason that it's a premium course is because of the premium service that you get, not just during, but afterwards as well. And that's our promise, is that we'll help people become fully booked and work with them until they are, and then continue to support them so that we're continuing to behave in a way that will keep us being fully booked and not get burnt out, which means that we can align our head, heart, and our hands in order to be able to give with ease and create a greater impact in the industry that we're in. So I love that. Genevieve, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for talking about the beautiful dogs that you work with. And it's just been a delight to be working with you. It's a delight to be able to connect with you today. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks, Alicia. Thanks for having me.